Hi, I'm Mark Rita.
I'm Christine Lynn.
Welcome to
8 Degrees.
Portraits of People
Exceptional People
with Impact.
This portrait is of Karen Uchima, feng shui and psychic consultant. She's also a member of the Psi Squad, a national organization that helps local law enforcement solve crimes.
Hi, my name is Karen Chidori Uchima. I'm a psychic and a feng shui analyst. Unfortunately, working on criminal cases makes me quite sad. It's kind of gut-wrenching to work on murder cases. I've worked in some grueling cases where I actually had to go on site. One of the earliest being the child murders in Atlanta, Georgia. There were hundreds of murders there. It wasn't a few. This is hundreds of people killed. I always go into these cases protecting myself, so I don't really pick up emotionally on the people that were killed, but I try to view it objectively to see what they saw. If they saw the face of a murderer, maybe sights that they saw. So I might be looking at a serial number, a license plate number. I might be looking at details like clothing. I might be looking at a weapon of some sort. Any information that might be helpful to the police. In the film, The Dead Zone, the person had an accident and woke up from a coma being psychic. Now, it doesn't take a coma or an accident or falling off a ladder to be psychic, but in that particular movie, that's exactly what happened. And after that, he was able to solve murders. In other words, he was able to put his mind into the mind of the killer and see it from the victim's point of view or the killer's point of view. So in that way, I found the film extremely accurate. People often say, how do you pick up the information? To me, psychic ability is not a sixth sense. It's an extension of all five senses. I've worked and met with many other psychics who only hear things. Some people see things, some people actually get tastes in their mouth or are very tactile with their hands. In my case, because I am visual, I see it as if it were a motion picture or video. So I can roll it forward, roll it backwards, and I can zoom in as if I were looking at detail. A psychic is everyone who has feelings about things where later on they say, gee, I should have followed up on that. So that might be a stockbroker who said, I should have bought that stock. A real estate person who looked at a piece of property and passed on it and became a multi-million-dollar property. Or a child that pays attention to their instincts. We all have a life path, and perhaps we can take a longer path to get there or a shorter path. But we were all born with certain talents and abilities. I think there is purpose for everything. Having had some excellent accidents in my life, including my apartment burning down at the time, it was a disaster. My apartment burned down. I lost my job. I lost my relationship. In the end, the only thing left standing was my bookshelf full of astrology books, all paper, unsinged, where everything else was water-soaked and destroyed, including my clothes. My cats died in the fire. But it gave me a clear-cut choice that maybe I should be studying astrology instead of the life path I was going on. How I began to study it was I was exposed to it in the home, so I was looking at hands and feet and directions and colors before I could even think about it. My grandmother was very into feng shui and also reading faces, hands, and feet. That's where I got my first study in face readings, when she would say things about the top of people's heads, the way the hair grew out, facial features. As far as abilities, my father would often say things out of the blue that didn't make sense and turned out to be true. It was obvious that my father was extremely psychic. And certainly since my grandmother talked about dreams all the time, I paid very close attention to my dreams. Dreams are your subconscious kind of bubbling up and telling you perhaps to pay attention, that you're not paying attention. And dreams, especially if they're repetitive, are you doing the same thing over and over again? Something you're not facing, something you're not dealing with. I knew astrology and my study of handwriting and faces was all significant. I had no idea I would actually be doing it full-time as a profession. My entering the psychic field was so gradual that I never actually stood up and announced I was going into the psychic field full-time. It just sort of happened for me. People say, well, where's your office? I don't have an office. I work with event planners and corporations, so I'm pretty much on the fly. I could be out of town, I could be doing lectures. I'm sort of all over the place. Real psychics don't advertise, they don't have storefronts, and I don't sit with a turban on my head. I get hired to actually do entertainment, so they might have a a fundraiser of some sort or an employee party, or they might be entertaining their clients and they hire me to actually do my work there. Sometimes I do readings, sometimes I do lectures. You'd be surprised to know some of the very stiff upper lip banks here consider handwriting to be very scientific, so I'll do my handwriting analysis lecture for them. Nobody but a fool would say they're 100%. So a doctor's never 100%, a lawyer's never 100%, and yet psychics are expected to be 110%, but I like the challenge. I do it all the time. I would never admit to being 100%, but the fact I'm doing this full time for a long time, 20 plus years, and I'm able to make a living at it, says something in itself.
Talking with Karen was fascinating, and she's a fascinating person. And in regard to her life as a feng shui consultant and a psychic consultant, she said to me, I didn't see this for myself. And that wraps up this edition of 8 Degrees.
Portraits of exceptional people with impact.
I'm Mark Rita.
I'm Christine Lynn, and we hope to see you on 8 Degrees.
Thanks for watching.